Python is having more flexibility than the R language, guys. Okay, so let us start with some introduction to Python. So today we are going to start with some introduction, some history, and all these things. We'll discuss about that, guys. Okay, fine. So let us start with the Python introduction, guys. Okay, so now, so why the Python is becoming, why the Python is very popular among all the other languages, guys? From the last, if you can see, 7 to 8 years, guys. From the last 7 to 8 years, if you see, Python is becoming a more and more demand. So people are preferring to learn the Python, and everyone nowadays, everyone, independent of their particular technology, independent of their particular, whatever may be their domain, they are learning this particular Python, guys. Why? What is the reason that why people are preferring to learn this particular Python, guys? The first advantage is, guys, Python is a general purpose language. So basically, Python, we are going to call it as a general purpose language, guys. What is meaning of a general purpose language? A general purpose language means it is not designed, this language was not designed to satisfy only for a specific group of people, or it is not only for a specific domain. For example, you know that all of you guys are, you are from SAS background, right? You are learning the SAS. All of you know that, guys. Why do you require the SAS basically? Is it a general purpose tool, or is it general purpose software, guys? Or only for a specific purpose only the SAS was designed? Anyone, guys?
Only a specific group, sir.
Only for specific group. Like which people will use as the SAS? Or what purpose it is used basically?
Medical
It's a clinical data analysis. It is going to be, yes, absolutely. It is basically for clinical data analysis they will be using. Only the guys who want to work with clinical data, or who want to work with that particular clinical data analysis, those people are going to be used as what is going to be this particular SAS will be used. So we cannot say that SAS is a general purpose language. You cannot develop any websites by using the SAS, or we can do some analytics, but we cannot perform all types of operations. But Python is not like that. It is a general purpose language. Anybody for any purpose the Python can be used, guys. Let me tell you some examples. So which type of people can be used, or which type of use the people will use as this particular Python? Basically, the first one is, I can say that by different developers they can use as this particular Python. So which type of developers? Like it can be a web developers, or it can be any mobile application developers. It's going to be mobile application developers, or it can be something like a gaming developers. So almost everyone who want to develop some different websites, applications, gamings, anybody can use this particular Python, because using the Python I can design the websites, I can design and I can develop the gamings, I can develop the mobile applications, I can develop the web applications. Almost all types of developers, they can use the Python for their particular, whatever the development part, they can use it. And apart from that, there's going to be some kind of a networking people, guys. So there are going to be some networking experts, hackers. Those people are also going to be users. They use the particular Python. Why? Because network programming, socket programming is supported by the Python. Not only that, even it is going to be by many mathematicians and statisticians experts. Many mathematicians and statisticians, they are also, so statisticians, they are also going to be using this particular, the Python they are going to be using, guys, isn't it? So like this, apart from that, there is going to be the guys like data analyst. Okay, basically we can use for data analysis, data analyst people. It is going to be data science people, data engineering people. Almost everyone, data science, data engineering, almost every purpose. So we use as ML, machine learning expert, deep learning experts. Everyone is going to be uses this particular Python, guys. So different domains, if you can see, developers, hackers, networking people, mathematicians, statisticians, and this particular data analyst, data science, machine learning expert, AI, ML, DL, NLP, almost everyone is preferring to use the Python as their particular primary implementation, guys. Anyhow, why we are learning here is, we want to learn not developing of web applications, we don't want to develop any networking and hacking related applications, we are going to implement some basic mathematical statistical concepts, mainly for data analysis. We are going to use it, guys. Because as you know that in SAS also we are going to be doing some kind of a data analysis. So how to do the analysis with respect to the, not only by using the SAS, by using the open source languages like Python. Why? Because as you know that SAS is a commercial product. You have to pay some license for that. But Python is not it's not a commercial one. It's an open source. It's a free to use. So that's why some companies, what they are doing here is, instead of buying the license for all the users for the SAS project, some people may be using some data analysis for that. So for those particular people, what these companies are doing is, instead of providing the license for the SAS, they're asking to provide them into, because the cost of the product has been drastically increased from the last 3-4 years. The cost of the SaaS software has been almost all, it has become doubled, 400% it has been increased, almost all. So that's why what companies are asking here is, the guys who are working on the data analysis in the SaaS, they're asking them to, instead of using the SaaS software, use these open source languages like R, Python. They are preferring to use that. That is the reason why we are providing the training also on the R and the Python, because some of the data analysis of your projects has to be done by using this R and the Python languages. We have to use it. Yes, R also supports, and even Python also supports. In the last week, we completed, it's 3 weeks or 4 weeks back, we completed the R language, and now this week we are starting with the Python sessions, guys. So the one of the main advantage of Python is, guys, you can use the Python for almost all, for any activity, for any purpose we can use it, guys. It's not that you have to use only for a specific purpose like SAS is there. It is only for basically use it for, it's going to be basically used for the clinical data analysis only. But we are going to be using not only for basic data, the analysis, we can use it for any purpose, almost all. Any kind of a web application development, mobile application development, gaming applications, networkings, we are having, even hackers are using them. Mathematicians and statisticians prefer to use it. Data analysis people, data analysts, data science people, data engineering, everyone is almost all, they're preferring to use the Python language, guys. Why? Because it is a general purpose language. Next, the second point is, it is an open source, guys. These are some of the features which we can talk about, that it is an open source. What do you mean to say open source? Open source means, generally most of the people does not have a clear understanding about the open source. Majority of the people thinks that open source means it is free to use. It is not free to use, guys. For example, let us say that, just an example, what is meaning of a free software, I will tell you. For example, take an example of an application like, which is going to be WhatsApp is going to be there. It is going to be a free software, guys. So you can use it at a free of cost. You are not paying any money to that. We are able to use, which is going to be nothing but what we are going to be using it. It's a free of cost. It is free to use. WhatsApp is a free software. It is not an open source. I will tell you the difference. What is difference between open source and a free software? So the company who has developed the WhatsApp is saying is, we are giving it a free of cost. So you can use it at a free of cost. Use it. But if you want to make any modification, or if you want to add any feature to the WhatsApp application, you can't do that. You can't do that. Everything we have to do from our side only. Why? Because we will give you only the application, but not the code. So internally they have written some code now, guys. They don't give you the source code. That is what they call it as a source code. They don't give you the source code. They will give you only the compiled code. That is going to be the application only they will give you. For example, take a Notepad. Notepad is a free software. But we can use the Notepad at a free of cost. But we cannot modify, we cannot add the features, we cannot remove the features from which is going to be from the Notepad. Even WhatsApp is also the same thing, guys. You cannot make any modifications. We cannot make any, we cannot add any features to that particular software. Only thing you can do is, we can only just use it at a free of cost, but we cannot sell you cannot sell the WhatsApp to anybody, or you cannot share it, you cannot share the WhatsApp to anybody, isn't it? So anyone can directly, they can download the WhatsApp and they can use it. because they will give you only the application software only, but which is going to be not going to be it is only the application software but not the source code. That is what we call it as a free software. That means you can use it at a free of cost, but we cannot make any changes to that particular software. What is meaning of open source, guys? For example, if really WhatsApp is an open source, what they will say is, we will directly give you the code directly to you. You use it. You can use it. Not only you can use it, you can make the modifications as you require. You can add up the features. You can remove the features which you don't like. And if you want, you can sell that code to somebody else also. You can sell that particular product to somebody, add some features and you sell it to somebody. That is what we call it as open source. So Python is an open source. R is an open source. What is meaning of open sources means they will directly share you the source code to you guys. So whatever the code they have written to develop the application, right? So for example, in real time, I think all of you have an idea about that. So whenever we develop an application, we only give you the application only to the end user. We don't give the source code. If you give the source code, the client can do the modifications whatever he requires in the future. That's why what we will do, we'll give you only the executable file. Tomorrow when he requires any changes, again he has to come back to you and ask for the changes. Otherwise, he will make his own changes by himself. He don't require any programmer for that. So Python is not such type of a software or language. It is an open source language. Open source means it is free to use. You can also free to use. It is free to use, guys, and even it is also free to distribute it also, guys. You can distribute if you want. You can sell the particular code to somebody if you want. But as it is the source code, nobody will buy it, guys. Why? Because, for example, I got the source code from the Python. If I try to sell the source code to somebody, they will say that you are giving me the Python source code. It is available at a free of cost. So why should I buy it from you? Then what you have to do is you add up some features. What are the main drawbacks we are having, or what are the main complexities we have? Add some features and say that. So this is your Python source code. This is your Python source code directly which we downloaded from the Python itself. Now what you do is add some extra features. Whatever the features you want to add it. And if you want, you can sell it to somebody if you want. You didn't develop the source code directly from the scratch. Somebody has given the source code. We just add some modifications, added some features, and you are selling it as your own product. So Python has given such kind of not only Python, guys, any open source is like that only. Even R is also an open source. You will get the source code, make the modifications, and if you want, you can distribute it to somebody. You can sell it to anybody. There is no copyright claims, nothing is available. If you do something like, for example, if I just share my Windows, if for example Windows software is there, if I share my Windows to somebody, if I try to sell the Windows to somebody, it will be some copyright. There is going to be copyright issues will be there. But here we don't have any such kind of a copyright issues. Why? Because everything is going to be open source. They given the rights to you to make the changes, whatever you want to make the changes. You can make the required changes, whatever you want we can do. Okay, so that is the basic objective of how we can work with this kind of a techniques, guys. So it is an open source. That is what basically we are calling it as an open source language. So free to use and it is free to distribute, guys. That is what the open source talks about that. Okay, fine. Next, third and most important feature is going to be, it is very easy to learn, guys. Very easy to learn and very easy to use. It is a very simple language, guys. It's not like your other programming languages. Even R is also, it's a very simple language only. Anybody can learn the R language very easily. Very easily we can learn it, guys. Very easily anybody can learn the R language. Same as it is Python also is a very simple language where anybody can learn, anybody can use it. Why? What is the reason for this is, Python is obviously we call it as a programming language, but maybe see somebody, all of you maybe at least you have learned some C language or at least some basic C programming. So maybe if we have look into the C programming or Java programming, we have to follow a procedure. Must and should, even if it is a small program also, we have to compulsory follow some basic procedure we have to follow. For example, I want to write a very small program, hello world program. How to write the hello world program in C language, for example, guys. So we have to write something like an hash include, which is going to be stdio.h. And after that, we are going to say, which is going to be void main. Some program we have to write like this, guys. What is our objective? I just want to write a program to print hello world. Even if I want to print a hello world program also, we have to write a lengthy code, guys. Lengthy code means it's not too much lengthy code, printf, which is going to be, I'm going to say, which is going to be hello world. And after that, we have to put a semicolon, close it, save the program. And after that, we have to compile the program. After that, we have to execute the program. So our main intention is to print hello world. But even if you want to print hello world also, we have to write a little bit lengthy process like this. And again, we have to say it, we have to compile it, we have to execute it. There is a lot of procedure is there, guys. So generally, if you while you are learning any programming languages, it will take at least 1 week to start your first programming. They have to explain what is the history, what is the features, what is the syntax, how to save the program, how to compile the program. All these things they have to explain it. But in Python, it is not like that. Python is a scripting language, guys. Generally, the Python is going to be comes under a scripting language. Scripting language means what you require. I want to print hello world. When you want to print hello world, why should I write all that extra coding? Why should I include that stdio.h? Why should I write a main method? Why should I write that all the saving, compiling, all these things are not required? I want to print hello world, Why should I write all this extra coding? So Python is going to be a scripting language which says that you need not to write any program for this. Directly, whatever the functionality you want, directly you can perform the required functionalities as it is. You need not to write any such kind of a programs. No need to save the program, no need to compile it, no need to execute it. All you can do at a time directly by just simply writing some kind of a script. So that is the reason why Python is a very simple language which is easy to learn and which is very easy to use, guys. That is the basic objective of the reason why Python is a very simple language, guys. That is the reason why Python is a very simple language, because it is a scripting language. So what exactly you want to perform, you just specify that I want to print hello world, just print hello world, that's it. You need not to write any particular coding, just I want to print hello world, just write print hello world, over. You need not to write all that extra syntaxes, no need to include that anything, no need to do anything, just print hello world, over. That is going to be the syntax. You need not to write all this kind of a script, and we need not to write all this kind of a program, we need not to write it. So that is the one of the reason why the Python is becoming very easy. So scripting language, so we do not require any specialized, we don't require any prerequisites, no prerequisite of C language or no prerequisite of C++, nothing is going to be required, guys. Directly we can just do whatever the work you want to do that. That is going to be one of the basic advantages of Python, guys. It's a general purpose language. It is an open source, very easy to learn, very easy to use. Next, some of the features, guys. Whenever we talk about some of the features. So you may, if you have any idea of, for example, if you have any idea of some other languages, guys, maybe if any other languages, if you have any idea, maybe, for example, if I talk about something like a C language or C++, Java, even if you don't have an idea, don't worry. Generally, whenever you want to use a variable, so you know what is meaning of a variable maybe, guys? Variables are nothing but there are going to be temporary storages. There are going to be temporary storages, guys. Okay. So what is going to be a temporary storages? We are going to store it in some kind of variables. We are going to store it, guys. Okay. So the idea here is whenever we are storing the data in a variable, when you're storing the data in a variable, first of all, we have to specify what type of an integer is integer I say I equal to 10, meaning that is first of all I specified that I want one variable I, so memory will be located with I, which is going to be storing a value of integer data type. I said I equal to 10. Okay, I will be representing value of 10. But for example, unfortunately, if I give I equal to hello, you will get an error. Why you get an error? Because the memory has allocated only to store integer value, because integer may takes only 2 bytes. Whereas string hello may takes 5 bytes. Why? Because 5 characters, 5 bytes it will take. But memory allocation is only 2 bytes. You cannot store 5 bytes there. So you'll get an error. Why? Because we already specified that I is an integer value. So when I is an integer value, how can I store the string value? Which is not a possible case. That's why must and should we have to declare a variable. We have to declare the variable, and based on that particular data type only we have to work. We cannot work with any other data. If you declare as an integer, assign only integer. If you declare a string, we have to assign only a string. We cannot assign some other different data types. But in Python, we don't have these issues, guys. In Python, these are going to be, we don't have any such kind of an issues are there. Because this feature is what we are going to call it as a dynamically typed language. Once again, guys, this feature is what we are going to call it as a dynamically typed language, what we are going to call it as. So if anybody has attended the R languages also, R language, it is also the same feature, guys. It's a dynamically typed language. What is meaning of dynamically typed language means you don't require to declare any variables. No declaration is required. Directly you can work with the directly. You can say I equal to 10, you can say. No need to specify that whether it is an integer or string or something like that. You can say I equal to 10. Immediately you can say I equal to hello also we can say. There is no problem, there is no issue. Same I here it will act as an integer. Here the same I will act as a string. That means Python is going to choose as the data type automatically by itself. So you don't decide the data type. Python is going to choose as the data type, guys. That is what basically this particular dynamically typed language. So Python is going to choose as the concept of which is going to be the data type. So we need not to worry about declaration. According to the required value, Python chooses the data type. There is no headache of converting the data, what type of data type it is, all these are not required. So one of the best feature we can find it in Python is dynamically typed language. Similarly, R is also the same thing. We don't require to declare any kind of a variables. So directly you can say A equal to 10. You can say B equal to 20, A equal to hello, A equal to something. You can just give the values, whatever the values you require it. So that is the basic objective of dynamically typed language, guys. So it's a general purpose language and it is going to be an open source, very free to use and free to distribute, easy to learn and easy to use because it is going to be a scripting language and which is a dynamically typed language. No need of declaring any variables, no need to declare any data type. Python choose an appropriate data type based on the given value what we have given, guys. That is what we call it as a dynamically typed language. So there are so many features are there, guys, but I'm just giving only some specific features only I'm going to be giving which are important for us. Okay, let us also discuss about the history also, guys. History means who developed it. Okay, so who developed it, how the Python came into the existence, and all these things we'll do that. For example, who has attended the R sessions, guys? Why the name R has came? Because the R was basically written by two people. One is going to be Robert Gentleman, and the other person is going to be Rose Ihaka. So these are the two people, guys. They are the professors at one of the university. They have written this particular R language. They are called as R&R, they call it as, and this is going to be the language what they have been got. Yeah.
Sir,
Yes.
just can you repeat the authors? R. Robert and
Robert Gentleman and Rose Ihaka.
Rose? I didn't properly.
Ihaka.
Okay. Ihaka. Okay.
Ihaka. So if you want, I'll show you once here. It is going to be just you can go to the R software. It is going to be rproject. Which is going to be org. Who are the contributors for this particular one? So these are the two people. Initially it was written by Robert Gentleman and the Rho Zihaka. These are the two people. They are known as RN of the statistics. Okay? Fine? Okay. Let's continue, guys. Okay, so this is going to be the person who has written that particular R language. That was written by the R language, which was basically written by these two people who are the professors at one of the university. They have written that case. Okay. Now coming to our Python. So who is the author behind them? Who is the person behind this particular the Python software or Python language?
Ronald Swam.
Name of the particular person, his name is Guido van Rossum. So it is going to be the simply we call him as a Rossum. So Guido van Rossum is one of the Dutch programmer who was born in Netherlands. He was the author behind this particular the language called as Python. So he was a person who was developed this particular R language. And generally we all of you know that whenever I say Python, generally that comes to your mind of all of you, obviously what generally that comes to your mind. So whenever I say Python means immediately generally that comes to your mind is going to be the snake, the huge snakes which are found in some kind of let's say that in some big where you can find it so we see that, isn't it? So here, basically here what we are talking about here is, whenever we are talking about it is not something relevant to any snake or something like that. This person, Guido van Rossum, in his childhood, he used to watch a TV show. He used to watch it just now, nowadays we are getting a web series, right? So same like a web series, around while he was in childhood, whenever it was aired somewhere around 1969, it was in the British channels. So it is an English comedy show, guys. It was an English comedy show. The name of the comedy show was Flying Circus. It is Flying Circus is the name of this one, and it was directed by a team called as Monty Python. That's why this show was called as a Monty Python Flying Circus. The name Python has came from there. It's a name of a team, the crew members which directed this particular TV show called as Flying Circus. You can also find it in the internet also, guys. Monty Python Flying Circus. If you can find out that particular Monty Python Flying Circus. It was aired somewhere around 1969 to 1974. It was aired in the English TV show. It was a comedy show, basically, like a web series. Nowadays, like how we are getting a web series. So at that time, there is a comedy show like a web series. It is going to be there. So he enjoyed that particular TV show during that particular time, and he has named this particular Python as a language. Mainly, the name behind that one is the name of that particular TV show, but not a snake or something like that. It is. So he has written this particular language, and his main target is to make development part simplified. Everybody see, some years before, guys, but maybe some around 20 years before, really development is a little bit hard. These non-IT professionals, that means who come from non-IT, so who come from like electrical electronics background, or who are coming from non-technical CSC, non-CSC, non-IT professionals, they used to be struggled a lot for learning the development part. But nowadays, the programming has become very, very easy and simplified. There is a lot of changes has been taken place, guys. From the last 20 years, I was in the market, so I know. So like, what are the changes that has been done? I'm having 20 years of experience. So from last 20 years, I've seen a lot of languages, lot of frameworks, lot of databases, evaluations. Some of them has been outdated. Business intelligence systems, MSBI, Cognos, business objects. These are all old generation systems. But latest generations are different. It is Power BI, even .NET. Even .NET is also outdated. Java is also almost all it is an outdated. Nobody is using that. There are, up to some extent they are using, but remaining everything is going to be like React JS or Node.js. These are some of the frameworks most of the people are preferring to use it. So this Rossum want to develop a language which need to be very simplified to the developers. So his main target is to develop a language which is a very simple language. So he has written this particular language called as, which is going to be the Python has written as. So that is a history behind that. And these are going to be some of the main features which comes from the Python. Next. And one of the main important feature, guys, is Python comes with a very huge library, guys. It's going to be contains a very huge library. It is going to contains means in Python, whenever you want to perform any particular operations, so who has already attended my our sessions, they knows a little bit idea about what is meaning of a packages. So everything will depend only on the packages. Even if it didn't attend our sessions, don't worry. So Python is going to comes with a very huge library, guys. Meaning that is, whenever you want to perform any operation in the Python, you need not to write any code for that, guys. You need not to write any code for that. Directly, there is going to be a built-in function will be there. Just we have to call the functions. There is going to be some calling of functions, calling of classes. There are going to be something. So everything is going to be done very easily with the help of some built-in libraries are going to be there. There are so many libraries are there, guys. So some of the popular libraries in Python, maybe you have heard about that. Like some of the libraries like NumPy, numerical Python, SciPy, which is scientific Python. We are having pandas, basically for data manipulation analysis, pandas will be used. For data visualization, it is matplotlib. We are having a Cbond. Like this, guys, if you go on discussing, so many libraries are there in the idea, guys, because I works on data science. I works on scikit-learn. I'm going to work with something called as a scikit-learn, scientific kit for machine learning. For NLP, we'll use NLTK, and for which is going to be for deep learning, we'll use Keras. We use a TensorFlow. We are going to be using PyTorch. Like that, we are having multiple libraries are there, guys. So learning Python is learning about these libraries only. What is NumPy? Why do you use it? What is SciPy? Why do you use it? What is pandas? Why do you use it? How do you use a matplotlib? How do you use a Cbond for data visualizations? Like that, everything is going to be done with respect to by using some libraries only. We are going to do it, guys. That's why things has become very easy and simplified with this application, guys. So this is what basically we can call it as the some of the features of your Python, guys. Okay, so that's it, guys. These are going to be some of the basic features. And if you want to download the Python software, the official website is nothing but it is www.wearehavingpython.org. From here you can download the Python software, guys, where you can just download. So please download the Python software for today. That means tomorrow I'm going to start with the basic practicals. Simply what you do, guys, go to python.org. Very easy installation, guys. Anybody can download, anybody can install. Downloads, can you see, guys? Downloads, Python 3.12.3. Just click on that and download the software, guys. Just it takes 2 seconds of time to download. It is only just around 25 MB space, guys. Installation is very easy. Next process. I'm not showing that. Why? Because in my system, Python was already there in my system. So that's why I'm not installing. So otherwise I'll also install it once again, but it may take some time. So this is a software, guys. Python 3.12.3 is the version. So just double click on that and just install the Python software. Just install the Python software. Very easy, guys. Next procedure. Easily you can do that installation without having a much. Nothing is going to be there. Everything is going to be. See there in my system, it is already there, right? So I'm going to be upgrading in my system. You have to install it, guys. In my system, it will take some time because old version, right? So we have to just update it. It will take some time. But you guys can install it very easily. You can install it, guys. Okay? So please install this particular Python software. So today is my first class, right? So I'm not taking more time. Just introduction to Python, how to install and how to go for the history, install the Python and history of Python. Once again, quickly, guys, Python is a general purpose language which can be used by anybody for any purpose we can use. And it is an open source, free to use, and which is going to be free to distribute. Very easy to learn, very easy to use because scripting language, dynamically typed language, no declaration of variable, and Python comes with a very huge library. Learning Python means not learning programming, it is only learning about this libraries, guys. And this is a history about that. The person called as a Guido von Rossum, he has written this particular Python language, and he was he enjoyed the TV show called as an Flying Circus, which was directed by the team called as a Monty Python. So he has named that particular language using behind that particular name called as a Monty Python. So that is a history about that particular Python, and download and install the software from python.org. So everyone, you have to download it, guys. So in the next class, I'm going to start with the practicals of this. I'll start with the practicals, where to write your program, how to write your program, not program, scripting, how to write your Python script, how to execute it, all these things. We'll start it in the tomorrow's class. So tomorrow at same time, guys, 10 o'clock to 11:30 is your class timing, guys. So 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. is your class timing. Today is your first session. That's why I'm not taking much time for today. From tomorrow onwards, we are going to take it in. I think all of you know that it's a weekend batch. Only Saturdays and Sundays only will be there. So Saturday and Sunday we will be taking almost 6 weeks. We'll take it, guys. Almost 6 weeks. 6 weeks will take to complete of this session. And tomorrow I'll start with the practical concepts, guys. Okay. Installation is very easy. It's taking some time in my system. You guys can just click on next, and we can install the software, guys. So please download and install the software from python.org. So this is an official website of the Python, guys. It is not .com, it is .org. .com means commercial, .org means open source. Okay, so download this particular software from here, guys, and install the software. Okay, if anybody is using Mac systems, you can download for Mac also. It is up to you. So what operating system we are using, so depending on your system, whether you want to use for Mac or whether you want to use for Windows or any other platforms are there, you can download it. It's an open source. It supports all types of operating systems. Okay, so that's it about this particular Python download and installation. Hope all of you do the installation and download for the tomorrow's class. So tomorrow I'll start with the practicals, guys. Okay, anyone, guys, any questions for the today's class? If you have any